Welcome back, everybody, to the second episode of this season's Over the Net, a Mizzou Volleyball interview series. Today, I have graduate student outside hitter Mychael Vernon with me. Mychael, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. Now, you had yourself a very, very good week this last weekend, leading to you being named SEC Offensive Player of the Week. First off, how does it feel to be the SEC Offensive Player of the Week?
It feels great. I mean, like coming to a new conference, you always want to try to get your name known in any way that you can. But it was really nice to just have that award be given to me after working really hard in practice the past week on some new stuff. So it's glad to see that the hard work is paying off.
For those not familiar, Mychael, you spent 4 years at Oregon State. And looking at your stats this year, very impressive hitting percentage so far, 307, leading the team. You led Oregon State last season in kills, hitting 232. What's allowed you to bump up that hitting percentage?
I think it's just like the team. They cover me a lot. They cover a lot of balls. It stops it from being an error if I get blocked and they cover it up. So they have my back a lot for a lot of plays. So I feel like I go up there swinging very confident that if the ball comes back on our side, they'll get it up. And so that gives me the feeling that I can try to do any shot that I can or take a risk and take a big swing in a moment. And I know that my team will be able to cover me and have my back.
And this team has been one of the best offensively in the SEC so far this season. And you have really 5 solid hitters in the starting lineup. Obviously, you with Jordan Iliff, Janet Demeray, along with the middle blockers, Colleen Finney and Reagan Haith. How have those middle blockers helped open up this offense?
They are so good. I talk to Colleen about it all the time. It's just like the little things that like some people who don't really know volleyball too well might not notice, but them like going and approaching to go hit and holding the middle blocker on the other side just frees up the pin hitters so they can have one-on-one blocks and easier chance to score. And our middles really love when they do that. They do like a little gotcha moment, but stuff like that, like they just like hold their own in the middle, so it gives us on the pins some more room to swing freely.
And then offensively, you're coming onto a team that has had a lot of people returning, but also some newcomers, obviously yourself, Reagan Haith, and then Marina Crownover all transferred in. What's it been like gelling with that combination of older players in terms of experience on the team itself, and then people who have been coming in this year just like you?
It's been a really easy transition for me, and I think I could say that for all the transfers as well. The girls who were here before freshmen and transfer incomers, they're just really welcoming. Like the whole program in general gives you really that space to feel like you could be who you are, and I feel like that is really important in being able to play good volleyball together, knowing that the people around you just like you for you, and they really want to get to know you and create those like strong relationships.
And then a phrase that has been used a lot throughout the program, love, family, grit. What does that phrase mean to you, and how do you see it in action every day as one of the players?
Yeah, so it's just about like loving the game, and we have this family program that we have here, and literally the day I stepped on campus, or even on my visit, like I knew that this team is like a really close knit group of people, and we all rally behind each other. I think that kind of stuff really translate on the court when you know that the people around you are fully supporting you and you're fully supporting them. That type of connection and those type of trust bonds that are built really helps you play together as one. And I feel like you can't win a game without being a team. So it's really important to be a unit and move as a unit.
So why don't we talk about, you mentioned even on your first visit here, can you walk us through what is the process like going into the transfer portal and finding a new team, and how did that play out for you?
I would say it's a little bit stressful. You just you never really know like where you're going to end up when you first enter the portal, and it's kind of that fear of the unknown. But I think just really like navigating through the options, and I think it helps a lot going through 4 years of being at a school before. So I really know how college volleyball works. It's a lot different from when I was in high school trying to go to college. So now I looked at things a bit differently, and I took into account a bunch of different other things that I didn't when I was younger, and I feel like I made the right decision. Like I instantly knew I made the right decision because I just wasn't nervous to come here. Wasn't nervous to like be in the new environment, and that alone just made me know that I was going to end up here.
So what was the specific thing, that one particular moment where you knew I want to be a Tiger?
I when I came on my visit, there was not like a single person that I did not talk to, and with that, like it didn't feel forced. Like it didn't feel like they were assigned to come talk to me because I was a recruit or anything like that. It was just felt like they actually wanted to get to know me and could see me as like their future teammate. And I feel like that alone just like really got me to got me to come here.
Now, you talked about a little bit about the difference between the high school recruiting process and then the transfer process. Obviously, at high school, you have a couple of years to figure it out, but transfer portal, you only have a matter of weeks, 1 to 2 months at most, to figure it out. Just how hectic is that process for you, and how are you able to balance that while you're still obviously trying to excel in your academics as well?
Yeah, it was definitely overwhelming that first week. Like I just wanted to like kind of turn off my phone and just like not, because there's just like so much going on. But once you navigate through it, it's kind of okay to manage. My school, Oregon State, we were in school for a really long time in comparison to like here. So I ended up graduating on like June 15th. So summer school was already starting for Mizzou pretty soon. So trying to just juggle between like getting towards graduation and just the portal process in general, it took me like about a week to kind of be like, okay, like this is something I need to like actually do and sort out. But then after that, it was pretty nice to just go through and weigh out my options. Talk to my parents a lot about it too, but they put it all up to me. It was all up to me.
And then why don't we talk about Oregon State? Now, you mentioned you had graduated. First off, congratulations. What did you get your degree in?
Bachelor's in science. So
Okay.
I did health science pre-dental track for my undergrad.
And then I saw that it lists your major as health science here at Mizzou as well. So, what particular area of the medical field are you looking at going into?
I want to be an orthodontist. So after this, I would look to apply to dental school, and then from there, become an orthodontist. I have a long way to go, but that is the goal, orthodontist.
And then what led you to want to be an orthodontist?
I've wanted to be one since I was 10 years old. It was around that time everyone started getting braces, and I thought that they were so cool. And then ever since then, I would like watch YouTube videos of like people getting orthodontist like procedures done and all that stuff. And I just became like, I was like, this is what I want to do. I even like grabbed paper clips and got like earring backs and made like a fake set of braces when I was like 11. But yeah, like I've known I've wanted to be an orthodontist since forever, basically.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's impressive knowing what you want to do when you're that young. And then how has the academic transition been for you? I know we talked about the athletic side, but what's it been like your first semester at Mizzou?
It's been nice. I have there's a lot of people around to help you if you need help, and I think also like at this point I pretty organized with my schoolwork and volleyball, being able to balance the two, just from experience. But it's been a pretty easy transition. Classes are going well. I have a lot of classes, but it's fine. It's going good.
And then talking about Oregon State on the athletic side, obviously you had an excellent career there. 4 years, you were All Pac-12 honorable mention last season. Ended up with over 1,000 career kills and 500 career digs. What when you look back at your time with Oregon State, what does that mean to you? And then how did they help you become the volleyball player you are today?
Yeah, I think that looking back on my Oregon State experience, it was interesting. Just because I started freshman year, it was COVID, and so we had that spring season that didn't really count, but it was still like a season. And then I also had a coaching change, so I had a new coach my senior year, which I also would say probably helped me with my portal process, just experiencing basically two different programs, even though it's the same program. But yeah, so started off with COVID, and then after that stuff got back to normal. But playing there, it was great. I feel like my senior year, I really gained a lot of confidence just because also before my senior year started, that's when I went to Jamaica and I played in Jamaica. So then that was good. And then the ball kept rolling into senior year. And senior year went really well. I think that was probably my best year so far since being at Oregon State. And so it was good to just go out with a bang. And me and my four roommates, we all graduated and parted ways. So I would say like confidence is really what helped me in that last year. So I think that I took that and brought that here, and it's continuing. It's going well.
And then you brought up Jamaica. That was one of the things I wanted to talk about. You were Jamaica Volleyball's Female Athlete of the Year in 2023. How did you become a part of that national team?
So my mom is from Jamaica. She was born in Spanish Town. And so I had been to Jamaica before, but I wasn't a citizen of Jamaica yet. But um, my parents were in contact with the Jamaican national team. And so I started that process and basically got my dual citizenship. And then from there, I went and I trained in the summer for a couple weeks. And then we went to Suriname, which is in South America. And we played in the Caribbean National Championship, and we actually won it for the first time in history. So that was fun to make history. But I think that it was just like a really fun experience being to actually experience like Jamaica alone. Before then, I just went with my family. But when I was there this time, I was actually part of the life because I stayed in the dorm there, and so I got to see towns around and really get like authentic, actual Jamaican experience. So I think it was nice. It was really fun. It was like a month and a half, fun month and a half.
And then how did that international volleyball experience benefit you in your collegiate career?
Yeah, I think being able to play at that level and just get that experience in general really gave me that little push, like the "you can do it" type of feeling. Um, playing internationally, it was fun. Honestly, I just think it was really fun. There was a lot of different people, a lot of different opponents. Internationally, like I feel like people play volleyball a little bit differently than we do here, and sometimes they mingle, sometimes they don't. But um, being able to play against like different types of people also helped me with like just putting toolboxes in my arsenal of like different types of ways I can score instead of just thinking about just hitting the ball. There's other ways that I can make a point or get the team out of system. So I think that playing internationally helped me kind of broaden my view of ways to play volleyball.
And then, obviously, like I said, female athlete of the year for Jamaica volleyball. Is that something that you want to continue into the future with playing internationally for the team?
Yeah, I'd say that I want to play for Jamaica as long as I can. Um, I don't know what's next in like the Jamaica volleyball process right now. I'm just focusing on season, but whatever comes next, if I can do it, I'd love to participate and be a part of it. I really enjoyed playing for Jamaica, so I would definitely do it again.
And then moving back towards Oregon State, you're from New York, Ossining, New York, uh, Under Armour first team All American in high school. So I have to imagine that you had a lot of people who were recruiting you during that high school process. What led you to choose Oregon State?
I think it was first the undergrad for Oregon State and like the dental track is really good. So that was one of the first things that I noticed. And then playing in the Pac-12, like being able to play in a really tough conference was always really exciting. So I wanted to be able to play against like really top ranked teams. Um, and it was really mostly like big conference and the academic side of it.
And
Even
then what was it? What was it like? I mean, obviously there are some weather similarities between Oregon and New York, but what was it like moving across the country?
it was really different. Like very, very different. It took me a little bit to really adjust to it. Um, Oregon and New York are just so different. And I never would have thought I would have been living in Oregon like ever in my life until it happened. So, but I will say that I am glad that I did it and being able to experience just life on the East Coast and now the West Coast and then now I'm in the Midwest. I feel like I'm branching out and getting different experiences in different areas. Um, but yeah, Oregon and New York are very different. Very, very
What
different.
what was the biggest difference or adjustment going from New York to Oregon? And then what's been the biggest adjustment going from Oregon to Missouri?
I'd say the biggest adjustment New York to Oregon is probably just like the people. There's just a different types of people. I had never really interacted with anyone on the West Coast until going there, and so just seeing how different people could be, which I really didn't know growing up in New York my whole life. Like I just thought that's just how everyone is, but very different. And then I'd say from Oregon to Missouri, I don't know if there was anything that was hard to really adapt in the difference, just because I felt like I spent those 4 years being able to adapt to something else. So moving on to the next wouldn't be too hard. Um, but Missouri is fun. There's a lot of stuff to do here, and there's a lot of good food places, which I've been waiting for because there wasn't many in Oregon. So I think that nothing has been too hard, just adapting from the Oregon to Missouri.
So you just mentioned the good food. What's your favorite place to go for a meal in Columbia?
Oof. Okay. Um, so I haven't really gone to any like local spots, um, but there is a. I guess this is kind of local. There's a Cajun Crab House, which is just basically like a seafood boil place, and it's pretty good. I've had it a couple times. I've been like lazy and DoorDashed it a couple times too, but it is good. It's a little expensive, but it's my favorite.
And then you talked about the Pac-12 that being a factor in your decision. You know, if I remember correctly, it was when the Pac-12 had announced they had 4 new members. I'd asked you about it after one of the matches, and that was the first you had heard about it. Obviously, there's been a little bit of time between that. What do you think of the new look Pac-12?
Yeah, I think Gonzaga just joined too, right? I think I
Yep,
saw
for
that.
yeah, for non-football, I think.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, I think it's good. I mean, like the Pac-12 just randomly disappearing was kind of sad. So I think that trying to bring it back is, I mean, I support it. Um, I don't know. I still haven't looked too much into it. I'm not gonna lie, but if they come back, I will be watching the Pac-12 because as an alumni, I cannot.
Yeah. And then, thinking about some of your former opponents, for example, take somebody who was playing at Stanford. I mean, they have to go across the country, as far as Boston College or Florida State, Miami, to play in midweek matches. I mean, how does that affect student athletes? So obviously, you still have that full course schedule like you were talking about, and then you have to take up so much more time because of the travel difference.
Yeah. That the flight from West Coast to East Coast, like I know all about it, and it definitely a long flight. Whenever I would fly home from Oregon or even fly to Oregon, it just like take up a whole day's time. It's definitely going to be a lot to deal with and like have to acclimate yourself to. Um, but I think that I don't know how they're going to work their travel schedules or however they're going to organize it, but I feel like it would probably be in the way that it would best help them be able to recover from sitting on a plane for a while, then going to go straight to playing, and then having a game the next day. So I think that whatever schedule they have, I hope that they're helping the athletes really be able to balance the two.
And then obviously in a new conference now, the SEC. What's been the biggest difference stylistically between SEC volleyball and Pac-12 volleyball?
I'd say that SEC volleyball is really physical. I feel like a lot of the opponents in the SEC are very big and very just like very physical players. I would say like in the Pac-12, like yes, there's size in the Pac-12, but I think in the SEC it just feels like a different game kind of on the court. It's a lot more just hands-on, just rougher play. It's just a little bit more elevated in the type of way that people swing at balls. People will go up to try to block you. It's just very, very on you.
Now I want to switch things up a little bit. You had talked about you had 3 or 4 roommates earlier, and you were all kind of in a similar age range. Now, Karen Steger is the gymnastics writer for our site, Rockham Nation, and she said that your roommates with one of the gymnasts, Amari Celestine, and then also Sarah White and Naomi Franco. How did you link up with them?
So after I committed here, Sarah and Naomi texted me and asked me if I wanted to be roommates, and I said, of course, obviously, because I talked to them a lot on my visit, so I knew that it would be a good match. And then a little bit after that, Dawn texted me and asked me if I wanted to add another roommate, which was Amari, and then we just started texting about it, and it worked out perfectly. We found a 4-bedroom townhouse, so we're all living together. We have a bunch of animals in our house because we all have pets. So it's been a really fun group to be in a house with.
So you said, do you have a pet then?
I have two. Yeah,
2. Okay. If you
yeah.
don't mind sharing, what are your pets?
I have two cats. I have one
Okay.
cat. He's a year old, and then my other cat. I just got her like about a week or two ago, and she's 3 months. So I have two kids.
Okay. And then what is the most challenging thing about having 2 cats?
I'd probably just say like, well, cats are like really, really independent. So like you can leave them as long as you feed them and they'll be okay. But I think that because I have like, they're both pretty young, like a year and 3 months, they're both like very young. They're just like dirty sometimes. I'm just like, ugh. Like I'll come back from a trip, they just be like, ew. But they're babies, so I can't be mad. But it's just like, ugh, I can't. sometimes.
And then you have 2 cats. You said your roommates all have pets. So how many pets are there in the apartment?
There are five pets now.
5.
Yes, so there's 3 cats and 2 dogs.
Do the
Um,
cats and dogs get along though?
no, not yet. We just got all the cats to get along, so it's baby steps. But the
It's
dogs,
a process.
yeah, the dogs
Yeah.
are pretty young too, so they're like very like jittery and barking and all that. So it might take the whole year, but it'll get done eventually.
And then talking about the gymnast, because I'm sure Karen would love me to ask this question. You know, how familiar are you with collegiate gymnastics, and are you planning on going to any of her meets?
Oh yeah, I definitely am. When I was at Oregon State, I went to a bunch of meets. I was really close with a couple of the gymnasts, and we had that Olympian who,
Jake Carey, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a really close friend on the gymnastics team who was my neighbor, and so I would go to the meets all the time to watch her and to watch Jay compete. So I'm definitely planning on going to see Amari compete because I love gymnastics. I also did gymnastics when I was younger, so I know like a little bit, but
Okay.
yeah, it's fun to watch. It's
Yeah.
cool.
What were your main events?
Okay, I never like competed. I never
Okay.
like got that far. But like I went to practices and I was basically just like a little kid who liked to flip and stuff. So that was basically what I was doing.
So has Amari shown you any of her routines, or like have you looked it up or anything like that?
I haven't seen much of her routines yet. I saw like one or two like posted on Instagram, or like I'll see her Instagram stories when she posts like stuff of her doing stuff in the gym. But I just think gymnastics is just so crazy. Like the way that people can do that kind of stuff, and then like have it be perfect is actually it's really crazy,
And then
impressive.
another curveball for you. Looking at the Oregon State information, it said that you enjoy dancing. So, what's your favorite dance move, and who is the best dancer on the team?
Okay. Um, my favorite dance move, I'd probably just say like classic, like the Dougie. I feel like that one, like you can't go wrong with the Dougie. It fits with any beat. You could just Dougie anytime. Um, the best dancer on the team, I'd probably say Tia. Tia, I think her Finisi,
Yep.
Tia Finisi. Yeah, Tia's a good dancer. Tia's a really good dancer. She does a lot of TikToks, so I try to like go in there with her, but she does good. She's a good dancer.
And then I don't know if you want to answer this, but who is the worst dancer on the team?
Oh god. Um. Oh my gosh, she's gonna be so mad at me. I'm probably gonna say Marina. Marina's like, Marina's my close. Like me and Marina are really close. Like she was just at my house. We had a sleepover like yesterday, but I yeah, she just lacks. She lacks in that area a little bit. But that doesn't mean she doesn't dance, which that's what I love about her because she'll still dance even though she knows. It's
I mean,
not
confidence is key.
exactly
Yeah.
exactly.
And then I also saw that you were involved with several different community service efforts at Oregon State. I think it listed raising funds for pediatric cancer, hosting Walk for Alzheimer's awareness. Um, what do you enjoy about community service? What does it mean to you to be able to give back like that?
I feel like there's 2 things that are my top favorite about community service. I think one, just like being able to meet people, like go out and meet people. I'm usually like not the most social person, but during community service stuff, I really enjoy meeting new people and branching out, meeting people within the community. Um, and then also, I would just say like being able to help in any way that I can. Like I feel like trying to make a change is really important, and one person at a time. It's literally just one person at a time. So anything that I can do to just help others around me, I feel like is will make a big change, even though I might not see the big change right away. But it's the little things that add up and help others around. So I think that's community service is really important to do.
And then moving back to on the court with the team this last week, obviously really impressive sweep of LSU and Baton Rouge, a team that, Mizzou lost to last year, handled fairly easily on Friday. And then the 5-set loss against Texas A&M on Sunday, up to nothing. And then A&M was able to make the comeback. So what are the main things for the team to work on after Sunday? What are the main focuses in practice this week?
I just say like keeping our foot on the gas. When you're in control of a game, it's really important to stay in control, and so just being able to consistently like cruise through and keep the foot on the gas, just keep it pushing and keep doing our game. I feel like whenever we play like how we are, we're untouchable. So as long as we go back to that and reset to that and focus on being able to keep the pace going, I think that would be probably the most important thing for us to work on.
And then you have a pretty big match coming up this Sunday against Kentucky, top 15 team. It's going to be in Lexington. What are going to be the keys to success on Sunday?
Okay, I'd say just being us. Simple as that. Like, I think we all know what we are as a program, as a team. Individually, we all know that we're all very great volleyball players. It's just a matter of playing like it and feeling like it. And once again, like I said earlier, just moving like a unit. If we compete like a team, each of us, all six of us on the court, and even the people on the bench, if we're just all moving as a unit and moving as a team, we'll continue to be indestructible, like how we feel when we are in those moments. And yeah, the same thing with the foot on the gas, being able to just go, 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 having that goldfish memory of just like forgetting when something happens and not getting too deep down in your thoughts and being really present in the moment. It will be really important.
And then before we wrap things up, is there anything that I haven't asked you about or anything else that you'd like to say to Mizzou fans?
I'd say to Mizzou fans, I just want to thank everyone for being so welcoming and really kind. Playing in Hearns for the first time a couple weeks ago, it was just amazing to see all the little kids come out and being able to sign autographs and just meet people. And I feel like the Mizzou community is just a really special community, and I'm really happy to be a part of it and also just be so easily welcomed into it. So I just want to say thank you to Mizzou fans, honestly.
Mychael, thank you for sitting down to talk with me today, and best of luck on Sunday.
Thank you for having me, and thank you.
That is going to wrap up episode number 2 of this season's Over the Net, a Mizzou Volleyball interview series. Today with Oregon State transfer outside hitter and SEC Offensive Player of the Week, Mychael Vernon. Make sure to check back in next week after the match on Sunday as we continue this series here on Rock M Radio. Everybody, thank you for listening.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Rock M Radio, a proud partner of Fans First Sports Network. Rock M Radio is the official podcast network of Rock M Plus, a new and exciting subscription service provided by me and the other voices of Rock M Radio. Please take a few moments to head over to rockm.plus and sign up for an account today. The cost is only $5 a month, and the benefits include access to our live podcast, a subscriber-only message board, weekly newsletters, and more. If you enjoyed this episode of Rock M Radio and would like to see more just like it beamed directly into your personal device, make sure to click the subscribe button below and tell your friends. Our podcast feed is available through the Apple Podcast app for iPhone, Google Podcast app for Android, whatever app you listen to your podcast. You can also find Rock M Radio on Spotify. If you're looking for a podcast about your favorite team that is not the Missouri Tigers, Fan First Sports Network is your answer. A full podcast network loaded with the team-specific podcasts covering Major League Baseball, the NFL, NHL, NBA, MLS, and more. And we'll be back with more episodes of Rock M Radio coming to you soon.